Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the morning grind. It is so good to have you. We are here. I have been up, actually slept very well last night. Was up working on script stuff. Decided that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to have to completely rewrite what I've got. But was working, so that's been but it was good, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've got coffee this morning. Everybody got their favorite drink ready. I'm feeling like taking a look at Mausritter today. I was trying to come up with what to look at, and 10 candles would be cool. I want to look at 10 candles, but I didn't have that one ready this morning, so I thought, oh, well, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Mausritter. It's, of course, not only does it have the animal theme like Tales of Rapavania has, but it also has an inventory management system that makes it sort of like Knave in some ways, and also like Cairn in other ways. So I thought it would be a good one to go ahead and get into. And it's digital, so I still don't have to worry about setting up something physical over here because my desk is still a mess. So welcome everybody. Gashrin says hello. Good morning. Good morning. Great to have you here. Brent is here. Good morning. Carl makes stuff. Sable Phoenix is here. Bacterial Ash is always here. Good to see you, Bacterial Ash. So I'm also experimenting with some different things that I'm thinking about. I've been trying to come up with good places to put like the members only streams and things like that. And so I was doing that, but it's kind of hard for me to come up with, okay, what are we streaming about and then when and things like that. And so it occurred to me that, well, what we should try, or what an experiment we could run is just doing a members only stream immediately after what we're doing right here, like a continuation of the morning grind. I'm here, I'm already set up, I can keep going. You're here, we can already keep going, and we can just go right into that. So if you notice, I've already set that up here. So we're going to have the ordinary morning grind here, and then we're just going to continue on with the members only stream. We'll just swap over to that after we do the morning grind here. So I'm thinking about doing that tonight. I'm extremely excited about our conversation tonight on Table Talk. We'll be talking with Doug Burton, and he has developed a very interesting theory of the feminine side of the hero's journey. What does a feminine hero's journey look like? He has a very interesting theory on this, and he's writing a book on it, and I read the preface to his book. He sent it over to me. I've taken notes on that. I also saw that online he has different like slides and things like that about the stages of the feminine hero's journey. So we're going to be talking about that tonight at 7:30 Central. And I'm going to ask him if he would like to, or be willing to do like a members only Q&A or something like that after that stream as well. So I'm very excited about that. What we're thinking about doing, Brianna clearly wants to talk about this, but she's not available on Thursday nights. So I thought that it would be a good idea if we just used tonight to sort of let him outline the theory and have questions and sort of develop what it is. And then at a later time, maybe on a Tuesday, Brianna and I can get together to analyze it, or also have him back and actually have maybe a three-way discussion on it or something like that. So let's go to the morning messages, and then we will go to Mausritter. The Morning Grind is brought to you by World Anvil. For all the RPG players out there, World Anvil offers extensive character management, including character sheets, journals, inventory, and spellbook. Everything a player looking to lose themselves in their character could want. Use the code MORNINGGRIND to get 40% off yearly subscriptions. And thank you for being here with me live on the Morning Grind. And if you're watching on replay, welcome to you as well. It's great to have you here. If you're enjoying the Morning Grind, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It will really help the channel grow, and I would be very thankful. We also have the Ravenkeep Discord server you can join if you would like to be a part of the community. Alright, that's what you need to know. Let's get to the main topic. So I just put in the chat, I've got a link to the Discord server, but then also, Zero the Blade is here. Good morning, Zero the Blade, and Andrew, and Robert. Hey, good morning, good morning. And also the World Anvil code. So this is, was this not quite the last day? Is there an extra day? Yeah, there's 31 days in March. So we got a couple more days to go with the World Anvil sponsorship, and then I'm going to be talking to them more. I saw they sent me an email about how things were going. So if you're thinking about getting in on World Anvil and you would like 40% off a annual subscription, then Morning Grind, use that code and get 40% off. And I really appreciate them being a part of what we've been doing over here. So, all right, let's go over here to Mausritter. Has anyone played this one? Of course, it was the case that a while back Europe was like, oh my God, you're doing Rabavania. Have you seen this? You've got to look into this. Okay, so this is Mausritter. I do like the way that it starts off. A sword and whiskers role-playing game. Let me get my windows set up over here. All right, here we go. Mausritter, a sword and whiskers role-playing game. Although you can see that it's different from the Tales of Rabavania in that in this, I mean, this looks great, but the in here, obviously, the mice are actually part of the real physical world. So, like the company that puts this out is called Losing Games. So this is Mausritter. Let's go down to the back. Mausritter, it says, take up the sword and don the whiskers of a brave mouse adventurer in Mausritter, the sword and whiskers fantasy adventure role-playing game. It's a huge and dangerous world out there, and it doesn't look kindly upon it does not look kindly on a small mouse. But if you're very brave and very clever and just a bit lucky, you might be able to survive. And if you survive long enough, you might even become a hero amongst mice. So this came out in 2020. I also happened to notice, thinking about in terms of actual products and like while we've been creating things like the Tales of Rabavania, this is a 44-page book, which I think is what I was trying to create as far as, and it looks like it might be a 6x9 or something like that as well. And it's 44 pages of material. So that makes it very similar. Actually, was the book I was looking at maybe 48 pages. I think I was putting together a 48-page book. So one more of the quad folds or whatever. I forget what you call it. But at any rate, so this is actually a very similar book in length to the kinds of material, one of our initial product links over here on this side of things. So that's also good. Like they're able to get this, to communicate this in this certain amount of time. Bacterial Ash says, as an Orthodox Christian, the idea of feminine hero's journey is counterintuitive. Feminine is traditionally understood to be the starting point, and journeying itself is a masculine action. Well, you should definitely, we can talk about that on the stream. Mausritter. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So, actually, do we have a character sheet? Because actually, we'd like to look at character sheets. Let me see if there was a character sheet in a download. Oh, Mausritter. Okay, that's a separate PDF. Hang on, let me bring up the character sheet because I think it's a good idea to take a look at the character sheet. When we're trying to get to know a role-playing game. And you'll also see why I was bringing up this was something that's a lot like Knave and Cairn. All right, so here we have the character sheet. And again, it is like the half-page character sheets, what I really like. We can see here, and actually lots of room on this character sheet for portrait and description. Name, background, birth sign, coat, and look. I think that's coat as in your coat of fur. Strength, dex, and will. Actually, so we could be looking at something that's even more Karen-like. What was it? I wish, and I can't think of that game that was, that uses damage to your attributes. Was the first one we looked at. It might be Cypher. But anyway, it looks like we have 3 attributes: strength, dexterity, and will. So actually, that's also Karen-like, but also recalls other games where we have a max and we're going to have current. So it looks like we're going to be losing attribute values over here. Portrait, description, pips. Maybe that's like money, I guess. HP, although we do have HP, so we got hit points here. But then here, this is very Karen-like, and I wonder which one. I wonder why I keep saying that. But I wonder which one came first. Did we look at when Karen was produced? I'm not sure. But anyway, we've got a very similar inventory structure over here. And it's Knave-like in that I think this is, well, we do have level over here. I was about to say it's not levelless, but it might be classless. We got a level over here with XP, grit, ignored conditions, banked items, and pips. But we definitely have, if we don't have classes, we're kind of also into, well, you are what you wear. Your inventory management is very important here. So main paw, off paw, 2 body slots, carried and ready to use. On the body says worn, quick to ready. Pack takes time to ready. During combat requires an action to retrieve. Oh, so I thought this was like armor, body being like armor, but it says that it's quick, worn, and quick to ready. So actually, so this is like on your belt or something like that. The quick access belt slots are on a bandolier or something like that. That might be what that is. Whereas packed things require an action to retrieve. I like the physical inventory slots. We talked about that. I would do it with cards rather than how Karen did it. But of course, you're short on it. You're really short on inventory slots here. But I could even see a situation where you've got main hand, off hand, what's worn on your body as far as your armor goes. But then I like the idea of having a few quick ready slots that, hey, these are the ones that are very accessible to you. And then other things are deeper in your pouch. And then we also have a stat block or a character sheet for hirelings. This looks like quarter page here. Strength, dex, will, HP, main paw, off paw, and then 4 things in their backpack. So that's what our character sheet looks like. So we kind of know what direction we're headed with this RPG. Carl Makes Stuff says, good design idea. Gear and prices right inside the cover. Carl says, the character sheet also says, this character sheet looks like it could be a metal backing for magnetic tokens. Yeah, it totally could. That was one of my problems. I would much rather have something like that. Now, I was talking about having the dashboard kind of like the Zombicide Black Plague has, where you've got now then you have to have a plastic like mold or something like that. Although I guess you could print them in today's world. But if you had the plastic piece, and then I like having the cards. I like the cards because it provides you more information on the items than just those pictures that Karen had. But I also don't like what you're talking about here, just a piece of paper with other pieces of paper sitting on it. That seems like they would get torn up, bent, and be rather that float around and things like that. Whereas actually, you're right. If you magnetized that, now that might be an even cooler idea. Now your magnetic tokens. Now your magnetic tokens wouldn't be able to hold as much information as a card. But if you did have, instead of a dashboard, you had something that was magnetic with this overlay on it with your character sheet, and then you had like card chits, because I was thinking that, okay, the paper, can I print this on like really thick cardboard? Because I'd almost want like a punch board style thickness object for all of my inventory items. That way they're thicker, they're easy to pick up, they're not they will still get slid around in that case, but at least they'd be thicker and easier to pick up and more durable. But if those were magnets, that would also let them stick to your board a lot easier. I like that quite a bit. Michael of St. Joseph, another Orthodox Christian. How about that? Yeah, molded console would work great. Molded, yeah, or printed. Hey, Tomocrat. Good to see you. Sable Phoenix is talking about masculine and feminine energy on the subject of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I think if you're interested in this on this subject, you'll be really interested to hear what he has to say. I thought I think he's got a very unique theory. And of course, Brianna and I have been talking about masculine and feminine versions of the hero's journey. Let me get back to the main rule book. Bacterial Ash says, I once used a paper inventory system, but it went exactly like you said it. I was really messy. It got torn up in a few sessions. We moved over to little laminated cards, which worked well enough. Yeah, or you could use magnetic tape. Oh, you could use magnetic tape on thick card. It's not as strong, but it's printed to hold up a card chit. Yeah, that's a great great point too. That if you were trying to like manufacture them or make them at home, like even because I'm thinking increasingly as I am trying to change the way that I'm doing things here, and always trying to think of better ways to do things and moving toward more print on demand stuff. That's a good point that I'm not sure if you can do print on, I mean, you probably can, but the magnetic stuff. But I know there are places where you can do like cardstock items, but then you could take like the magnetic tape and put it on there. And that would be, yeah, perfectly fine for inventory management. Okay, so let's get to the main book here. So, yeah, prices and stuff here in the very beginning. Now, I think that even that Shadow Dark had that, though. Gear and prices. All prices are in pips, the standard currency of the mouse kingdoms. Tools, mouse made. Available in most mouse settlements. These items are mouse-sized. Bedroll, bellows, book, reading, bottle, bucket, caltrops, mouse-sized caltrops, chalk, chisel, cookpots, crowbar. It's a bunch of standard adventuring stuff. Set of loaded, or at least stuff that people commonly put on lists like this. Water skin, wooden pole, wooden spikes. Tools human-made, available in most mouse settlements near human populations. A fish hook, an incense stick, lenses, necklace, chain, needle, pack of matches, mousetrap, poison. So now, weapons and armor, we've got stuff like improvised weapons, okay, light weapons, dagger, needle, etc. Sword, axe, I guess these are all mouse-sized as well. Heavy, light ranged, heavy ranged quivers, light armor, heavy armored, silver weapons. Always mark usage after a fight. Light sources, but we do have electric lantern. Electric lantern has 6 usage dots. Clothing, lodging, and food. Transport hire, hired help. Oh, here's our hired help, because we had hirelings on the stat sheet for them. Torchbearer, laborer, tunnel digger, armorer, blacksmith, mouse at arms, scholar, knight, or interpreter. Sable Phoenix says, I'll have to catch. Yeah, well, there's the replay. So I hope everybody, I think it's definitely be worth live or the replay. What kind of pips? Orange, apple, or pomegranate? I don't know. Yeah, it does sound like that, Carl. Good morning, Thor. Good morning. And Zero Theory. Sounds like there's some kind of item wear and tear mechanic. Yeah. Zero Theory says, is Mausritter another game that uses gear laid out in a grid pattern so you have to match the items to? There is, yeah, it's like gear slots on your character sheet. So yes, this is one like that. We were just talking about that specifically a moment ago. Mousy names, birth name, and matroname. Carried bric-a-brac. This is just, see, this is just extra stuff you got with you. And it depends on... we've talked about that. At least this is extra. D6, D8. Bee stinger wired to a wooden handle. Oddly shimmering opal and silver wired setting. Lock of fairy's hair. Pink plastic fur brush. Collection of dried leaves bound with twine. Fly preserved in tree sap. Bouncy rubber ball. Oh, so this says, these are the games or blogs I've drawn inspiration from or shamefully stolen from in order to build Mausritter. Into the odd for most of the core rules. So we get inspiration there. Oh, so Knave is actually cited right here. Okay, well, that's interesting. So Knave came first. Now, I'm not sure about Cairn. Goblin Punch for the magic and 3x usage. Some of these, God, more stuff to look at we've never heard of. Mothership for densely packed layouts. Moon Hop for just going and making your game. The Last, a grimoire for arts and crafts inventory. Coins and scrolls for my reintroduction to the world of old school role-playing game. Inspired by Brambley book series here. Brambley Hedge, Church Mice, The Tales, The Rescuers. Aronetti, Distant Mirror, Mouse Guard. I've heard of Mouse Guard. Mice and Mystics, a board game. I don't know anything about that one. All right. Oh, Bacterial Ash says the items are very evocative. Yeah, that's nice. I agree. Brave mice in a dangerous world. The mouse kingdom survive on the edge of collapse. A harsh winter or heartless cat could spell the end of all. Settled mice huddled together, hidden in their settlements and trees and burrows and walls, scraping and saving, a tenuous existence. But you are not like those settled mouse. By choice or by necessity, you are an adventurer. You live by your luck, your smarts, and your bravery. With your friends by your side, you will abandon the warmth and safety of the mouse settlements and venture forth into dark and dangerous places where other mice do not dare to tread. There is great wealth to be found in those who are willing to take it. By those who are willing to take it. The world is old. Great empires of mouse and beast have risen and fallen. It's a huge and dangerous world out there. It does not look dangerous kindly on a small mouse, but you are very brave and very clever, and just a bit lucky, you might be able to survive. But if you are very brave and very clever, and just a bit lucky, you might be able to survive. And if you survive long enough, you might even become a hero amongst mice. What is Mausritter? Mausritter is a role-playing game. You and between 2 and 5 friends play make-believe to create a shared world. The rules help keep the story you tell consistent, interesting, and challenging. One of you will take on the role of the game master. They will invent and describe a consistent, believable world, complete with dangerous antagonists, wild beasts, and friendly settlements. They will also act as a neutral referee for the rules, applying them fairly to player mice along with non-player characters within the world. The other players take on the role of mice. Each will play the role of a small, brave, and desperate adventurer delving into dangerous places and exploring the world the GM describes. What is a role-playing game? All right, we know what that is. What you need. Character sheet, session tracking sheet. Yeah, there was another PDF in this download that was like a Game Master session tracking sheet. So that is something else that we have. The set of item and condition tokens, polyhedral dice, pencils, erasers, spare paper for taking notes and sketching maps. 6 through 18 is directed at players. The remainder of the book is directed toward the game master. If you're playing the game, you'll need to read how to play and running Mausritter sessions, and either prepare an adventurer or use a ready-made one. Okay. Okay. Because this, let's take a look at. Let's go ahead and go take a look at making a mouse, since this is kind of a short one anyway. Okay, so attributes. Your mouse has 3 basic attribute scores. These measure their basic strengths and weaknesses. Strength, physical strength and resilience, dex, speed and agility, will, strength of will, and charisma. For each of these attributes, in order, roll 3d6. Oh, so this is like old school mouse role-playing game. Keep the 2 highest dice results for a value between 2 and 12. Oh, okay, well, we drop 1. Okay, so keep the 2 highest for a value between 2 and 12. You may then swap any 2 attributes. HP, pips, and background. Roll d6 for your hit. Oh, HP is hit protection. This is the damage your mouse can shrug off before it takes serious harm. So there is a lot like Karen in here. That's hit protection. Roll d6 for your mouse's starting pips. These are the basic currency of the mouse kingdom. Cross-reference the value of your HP with your pips on the background table. This is what your mouse was before becoming an adventurer. Oh, well, that's interesting. So instead of rolling for a background, it's telling you how many hit points have you got versus how wealthy are you. What or extra cash you've got. That's an interesting way of doing things. Starting equipment. Your mouse starts with torches, rations, 2 items from their background, and a weapon of your choice. I mean, that's, again, you're right. That's very similar to Knave. It was rolling for background, for rolling for the items. But like I said, I didn't think that the items in Knave seemed to be that useful. This one has some extra stuff, but that's separate from your actual useful items. Choose a weapon. You get rations, and yeah, I would give. And I was thinking when we were looking at Knave, well, I think we'll just give everybody some torches as well, because I was going to come up with a better adventuring package. It's really, by the time you've gone through a number of these things, like 100 different RPGs, it's interesting to see the connection, especially like when Andrew was saying that actually lay that out, the acknowledgments and what kind of the developmental, at least the sort of intellectual descent of this game is. Yeah, I like it too. Yep. I hope you have a great day too. Desist dawdling. Probably missed you. Okay. So details. Roll to choose a birth sign, a coat, and a physical detail. Choose a name as appropriate for the brave mouse. So here we are. So we can pick or circle this. So birth sign, star, wheel, acorn, storm, moon, mother. Disposition. So I guess this is like instead of alignment or something. So Moonstar, wise and mysterious. Coat, white and brindle. A tan marbled coat. A blue solid coat. Okay. Physical detail. Massive body. Tiny body. Night black eyes, eye patch, cropped tail, beautiful face. This is a D66 roll. Oh, D66 means D6 times 10 plus D6. Backgrounds. So yeah, this is fun. Okay, so like if you have 2 hit points and 5 pips, it means you are a blacksmith. So you get a hammer, which apparently is some type of weapon, and then also a metal file. So if you had 2 hit points and only 1 pip, you are a mendicant priest. You get the spell restore and a holy symbol. So if you are 6 and 6, you are a pauper noble mouse. You get a felt hat and perfume. So I guess you don't get as many stuff. Oh, that's interesting. So your amount of useful stuff isn't as high because you've got 6 hit points and you got 6 monies to spend, right? So let's see. If you are a 1/1, you are a test subject. If you're 1/1, you're a test subject, but you get the spell magic missile. And you have a lead coat, which counts as heavy armor. Oh, I like this. I like this. It's trying to balance out. Yeah, actually, I think something like this needs to be sort of ported over to Knave. Because what if you do roll 1 hit point or something like that? Well, this is balancing it out by giving you an extra item. Andrew says, I wonder if mice would have better night vision than people. I think they scurry around at night usually. I don't know. Sable Phoenix says, it makes sense that all the OSR would have generally large similarities since they're all spinoffs of D&D via the OGL. Well, right. They've got similarities, yeah. That's why so they're mostly nocturnal. That's why anyone who's ever owned a hamster knows the hamster wheel goes crazy in the wee hours. All this talk of role-playing in mouse is going to make you want to play Moss in VR now. Yeah, I'm a fan of the way this works. I see the mechanic this is going with, so I like this. Street Tough knows what's up. Wait a minute, hold on. Street Tough. Oh, he does get a flask of coffee. So if you have 1 hit point, but you get 6 pips, you're Street Tough. You've got a dagger and a flask of coffee. Trash Collector. So like, so it's 3/3. If you're 3/3, you're a tin miner. You get a pickaxe and a lantern. A merchant is 3/6. So what if you're really tough, but you're poor? You're a troubadour. You get a musical instrument and a disguise kit. Yeah, I like this. Okay, so now we get to inventory slots. Inventory slots. Your mouse carries items in their inventory slots. Most items take up 1 inventory slot. Some larger items, such as 2-handed weapons and armor, take up 2 slots. Oh, look, this is interesting. This light armor, which, look, they've got a button as a shield, is crossed. It crosses paw and body because it looks like it's like a cuirass and then also a shield. So in order to have light armor, we're not distinguishing the shield from the cuirass. This one does some unique stuff. But okay, so also, here's what I like about this. You can see here are some sample tiles that you're putting down on your inventory. One of my problems with Cairn was that it had those large things you're supposed to cut out, and it had a picture of what it was, but that didn't help you reference stuff in the middle of the game. Like, what exactly does the dagger do, or whatever, as far as its stats or whatever it is? I didn't like that, because then you still had to go look that up. It makes so much more sense, like what we have here. It makes so much more sense for there to be actually information on the tiles. The illustration is nice. I mean, I agree in the situation like that, that should be there. but that shouldn't take up your entire tile, especially when you have so much more room. So here we've got like the usage stuff going on that you can mark stuff off, and it's telling you something about, okay, this is a light weapon and it's D6. That was obviously missing in Cairn to me. That was obviously missing because I wanted more information on those tiles that go in your inventory. I like the slot. I like the slot system for inventory so much better than just write everything down. And then because I suppose of the sort of shift to, in my personal style, toward more of the gamist kinds of things, I like the inventory slots like this because it helps you focus on what's important. I think I've talked about this a long time ago, but even to me even in a narrative game. So in the more gaming side of things, gamist side of things, and then in the more narrative styles of things, I still think it's very important for the players to understand what it is that's important. Because I've been playing games where, okay, I open up this treasure chest or whatever it is, this chest or whatever, and what's inside. And then the game master gives you this long list of things that are inside. Okay, like embroidered handkerchief. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And there's all this stuff. And you're sitting there writing all this stuff down. And then later, a few sessions later, you look at your inventory and you're like, what do I have? I got this embroidered handkerchief. I've got a partially silvered comb. I've got, and it's like, does any of this actually matter? Like, what part of this does actually matter? So I like it that if you handed a card, if you're doing your inventory by a card and a card gets handed over, or if one of these tiles gets handed over, you know that, oh, this is actually a significant object that I need to be paying attention to as a player. And I can use it in this particular way, and you don't end up with just all of this junk that's cluttering up your mind, and your character sheet that doesn't actually matter. Here's something that matters because it's got a card or it's got a tile or something like that. Now, how it matters, that's, you could come up, now, how am I supposed to use this? Or how does this fit into the plot or something like that? That's different. Sable Phoenix says, I might want to grab Mausritter now just because the background setup. I'm wondering what a mashup of things like Knave, Mausritter, etc. would be like. I'm wondering the exact same thing. Bacterial Ash says, ale brewer with his drunken torchbearer for a hireling. Yes, okay, so, and I also see, yes, the conditions also affect what you can carry. Smart. Yeah, so that seems to be coming over from some of these different style of games as well, because we did say, like in Cairn, there was like exhausted. When you were fatigued, your fatigue took up inventory slots. And that was another thing that managed spell casting, is because when you cast a spell, you got fatigued. I think that's how they were making wizards not supposed to have a lot of armor and stuff, or a lot of stuff, because they need to keep their inventory slots open in order to be able to be fatigued. It also, like in a game like Knave, explains why the wizard isn't wearing a whole lot of armor, because if the wizard's going to have a lot of spells, those spells themselves took up inventory slots. So here we also have exhausted is taking up an inventory slot. And actually, I believe, I haven't been able to see much on Knave 2.0, the second edition of Knave, but for some reason, when I thought I was looking it up and people were asking me about it, I thought that it was saying that one of the things that was changing in Knave was that conditions like that were also going to take up inventory. So that also seems like a common way to do this. Sable Phoenix says, wow, this looks really great. Mausritter is making me want to use it as a base and mash up other OSR games on top of it. Mostly Lamentations, the Flame Princess, for a comprehensive overview. We're going to get to Lamentations soon. Yeah, if you really want to go wild with this, you can make custom little magnets and have them dry erase wipe. That's exactly what I was thinking. So we talked about the magnetic thing too, but if the magnetic top is slick, make the magnetic top of all these slick. That doesn't seem like it would be hard at all. Oh man, it would be great. See, it would be great if we could do some things like this that were print on demand. If they were slick, then everybody also just has a dry erase marker. So I know people don't like to mark on their actual items, because if these were actually tokens, some people would. But I know how people are, especially a lot of gamers, that if they're like actually just punch out tokens, then people wouldn't want to mark on them, even with a pencil. But if they were dry erase, that would solve that. So paw slots. Items in these slots are carried. Body slots, worn items can be swapped with a paw. Okay, so body slots, worn items can be swapped with a paw slot as a free action. See, I like that. I would call them like the belt slots in Diablo, that you've got like a couple of belt slots. Free action, swap something from your hand to your belt. But if it's in your pack, well, that's going to be a bigger deal to get to it. Pack slots. These items in these slots take time to retrieve when under pressure. While in combat, your mouse must use an action instead of attacking to find an item in their pack. Conditions are negative effects suffered by your mouse. Every condition must be placed in an inventory slot. Mice may have multiple copies of the same condition. Some conditions have additional effects which apply as long as the condition remains in your inventory. Conditions can only be removed by meeting their clear requirement, usually a short, long, or full rest. Hungry, clear after a meal. Injured, disadvantage on dex and strength and dex saves, clear after full rest. Usage. Most items have 3 usage dots. When all 3 dots are marked on an item, it is depleted or destroyed. Usage dots can be cleared from weapons or armor for 10% of the original cost per dot cleared. Weapon, armor, ammunition. After a fight, roll d6 for each item that was used during the fight. On 4 to 6, mark usage. So that's why it said with the silver weapons, always mark usage after a fight. Torches, lanterns, mark usage after 6 turns. So that's like, okay, depleting the fuel supply. Rations, mark usage after a meal. Not after a day, but a meal. I was actually wondering how to handle that. Because if you're keeping track of days worth of rations in your inventory, like for a game like Knave or something like that, if you're keeping track of days worth of rations in inventory, but then you also have a rule that says in order to restore hit points, which I like, actually, if you got your long rest and you get back hit points, you get to make a hit point roll or something, you've got to eat a meal. A meal is not an entire day's worth of rations. It's like a third of a day or something like that. Do you just mark off an entire day of rations? If it's an 8-hour rest, that's probably fine. And that's just when you mark off that day's worth of rations. You may have been snacking or have had some breakfast or something like that earlier. But that seems like that's 2 different increments, if you understand what I'm saying, about the rations. Eat a meal versus an entire day to sustain you. So I was wondering about how to implement that in an elegant way. Other gear. If used in a way that could break or deplete it, the GM may ask for you to mark usage. Encumbrance. If your mouse is carrying more items or conditions that are available in your inventory slots, they are encumbered. While encumbered, your mouse cannot run and make saving throws with disadvantage. Oh, so I was wondering if you had to drop something because if you're exhausted. But maybe if you've got all 6 of these full and then you also get exhausted, you're now carrying more items and conditions than you have available inventory slots. Now you're encumbered. While encumbered, your mouse cannot run and makes all saves with disadvantage. Banking. In a mouse settlement, pips and items can be stored in a bank or safe box. Your mouse must pay a fee of 1% of the value when retrieving the stored pips or items. Sable Phoenix, I'm so happy you looked at this because I had frankly written it off due to it being anthropomorphic animals. Well, you know me, I wouldn't write something off just because it's an anthropomorphic animal. But yeah, I completely agree. This is I hadn't looked at it. I had pushed this one off, but I'm very glad that I've gotten to it. Yeah, dry. Exactly. Yes. Bacterial Ash says, I agree with everything you're saying, Sable Phoenix, including writing it off beforehand. Hey, Nico. Welcome, Nico. So improvised weapons, light weapons. If attacking with 2 weapons, roll both dice and use the best result. That's a Cairn thing. Heavy weapons. Medium weapons. Light ranged. Body slot. Oh, okay. So this is telling you that the heavy range, so that takes up both paws and also a body slot for quiver of arrows. So stones and pouches takes up a body slot, but then one in the main paw. Main paw, I guess that's or off paw. Heavy weapons take both paws. Armor reduces damage dealt to your mouse by enemy attacks. Light armor, off paw, and one body slot. Heavy armor is 2 body slots. Oh, so you're also changing. Okay, so other decision to be made there. So prevents 1 damage with light armor. So wait, what's the but heavy armor is also prevents 1 damage, but it's 2 body slots. So do you want another body slot for quick access to something, or of course this is also much more expensive. That's the trade-off. Essential items: torches and lanterns provide light. Light sources mark usage every 6 turns. Lanterns must be refilled by oil. Electric lanterns must be recharged by batteries, but provide 6 usage dots instead of 6. Rations for the road. Eating a ration and spending a watch resting will heal all HP. So also, okay, so again, I like that eating and resting is tied toward restoration of HP. In this case, healing all of the HP, which is hit protection. If your mouse doesn't eat for a day, they gain the hungry condition. Pip purse holds 250 pips. Carried pips require 1 inventory slot per 250, barring the first 250, which are carried in the mouse's pockets. Mice and settlements mostly deal in barter and IOUs, and pips can be stored at a bank. How to play. The GM describes the situation. You describe what your mouse does. The GM will describe the outcome. The conversation flows until the mechanics interject. Role playing. You are in control of and acting in the role of your mouse. You can talk in first, second, or third person or switch between them. You don't have to do a silly voice, but it certainly can't hurt. Best practices. If you're stuck thinking of what to do when you're playing Mausritter, refer back to these guidelines. Ask lots of questions. Make notes, draw maps. Work together. Devise schemes, recruit allies. Dice are dangerous. Clever plans don't need to roll. Play to win. Delight in losing. Fight dirty. Run, die, roll a new mouse. Okay, saves. When you describe your mouse doing something risky, where the outcome is uncertain and failure has a consequence, the GM will ask you to make a save against either strength, dex, or will. To make a save, we're rolling a d20 here. If the result is less than or equal to the relevant attributes, so another Karen-like thing here, your mouse succeeds. This is a roll under system. Roll under your attribute, and our attributes are 2 through 12. Well, actually, that's going to make it pretty hard to make saves. It does say up here that devise schemes or dice are dangerous. Clever plans don't need to roll because your max score is 12. So you're going to be failing. If you have to make a check, chances are you're failing quite often. 1% is an odd choice. Yeah, I was trying how do we calculate that? 1% seems really low. Oh, Sable Phoenix says, is that threading of a light bulb? I didn't recognize that. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what that is supposed to be. I bet it is. I didn't realize what that was supposed to be, but that does look like the threading of a light bulb. Yeah, so heavy armor will free both hands. But it occupies, exactly. Okay, Carl says, but it occupies both body slots, so you can't use a ranged weapon. Although actually light armor uses a hand. Okay, so you can't use a bow either. But you could do heavy armor and a two-handed sword. Or two-handed weapon. Opposed save. If your mouse and another character are competing, you both make saves. The lowest successful roll wins. Makes sense. Both roll off. If one of you succeeds and one of you fails, the winner's obvious. If both of you fail, I guess roll again. But if you both succeed, whoever rolled the lowest and lowest successful roll wins. that to me, that should be, to me, the way that you do opposed rolls like that is that if you win, if somebody wins and somebody fails, the winner is obvious. If you both fail, then the winner is whoever failed their roll by the least. That way, if you both roll 14s, but somebody has a strength of 8 and somebody has a strength of 12, the strength 12 person would be the winner. If you both succeed, then it's the person who succeeded by the most. So again, if you've got strength 8 and strength 12 and you both roll 2s, again, the strength 12 person wins because that person succeeded by the most. So, but this says the lowest successful roll wins, which makes this more random. Yeah, so maybe the like, let's check. So the light ranged main paw. Yeah, I guess it's got the, I guess you can load your sling with a hand that might have a shield, depending on how the shield is strapped. But light ranged also is things like a nut or a stone. So I guess that, yes, that's just throwing something. So you're the light ranged person. Heavy ranged is both paws plus a body slot. Combat. Combat is dangerous business for mice, even brave adventurers, but sometimes it cannot be avoided. If you attack unsuspecting foes, your mouse and any allies are aware of that plan, go first. Otherwise, make a dex save to act before your opponents. In following combat rounds, maintain this order. On your turn in a combat round, your mouse can move up to 12 inches and perform an action. Actions could be anything from negotiating, attacking, fleeing, or performing a risky gambit, like tripping or disarming an opponent. Attacks always hit. Roll your weapon's die and do that much damage to an opponent minus their armor. So that is like an end to the odd kind of thing. And also the end to the odd, but also Mork Borg kind of stuff. When an attack is impaired, such as when firing into cover or fighting while grappled, roll d4 for damage regardless of the weapon. When an attack is enhanced by a gambit or a vulnerable opponent, roll d12. Hit protection and damage. The damage is dealt first to a creature's hit protection. This represents the creature's ability to avoid or shrug off real damage. I suppose with both Cairn and this, if you're not rolling to hit, remember, if you're just dealing away your opponent's hit protection, then you didn't actually hit them. That's on the opponent. The opponent's abilities tell you how good they are at avoiding damage and things like that. So I guess that's why you always hit, because you actually might not hit them, but because of the opponent's hit protection. Yes, but this is minus armor first. So weapon die minus armor, then go to hit protection. This represents the creature's ability to avoid or shrug off real damage. Once HP is depleted, damage is dealt to strength. After taking strength damage, the creature must make a strength save. If they succeed, they are still able to fight. If they fail, they take critical damage. Also, I like the potential speed of combat because any hit can do serious damage to you. You get hit, you lose strength. If you lose strength, it means you are actually injured. Now you need to resist the effect of that injury. And if you can't, you take critical damage. When a creature takes critical damage, they take an injured condition and are incapacitated until tending to an ally or taking a short rest. So injured and incapacitated. Didn't we see an injured marker? Yeah, injured. Or it says disadvantage on dex and strength and dex saves. Clear after a full rest. So they take an injured condition and are incapacitated until tended to by an ally and taking a short rest. If an incapacitated creature is left untended for 6 exploration turns, they die. Sable Phoenix says it's the OSR version of rolling representing a percentage chance. It's the OSR version of rolling representing a percentage chance rather than a target number. Oh, that was probably going back to the saves, the opposed saves. Howdy. Makes sense to roll to. It makes more sense to roll under, but with the highest value win. So the contested rules do make sense. Sable Phoenix says. Can flaming arrows be matches? It seems like it would sure fit the style here. Hey, James, way late today. Good to see you. No, it's a roll under system, and it's rolling percentages, not discrete numbers. Good morning, Jason. Well, this is a good one. This one is this one has lots of great stuff that everyone has really liked in this RPG. So this is definitely one that's worthy of rewatching. Yeah, Carl says, "Wow, considering you can start with 1 HP." So yeah, 1 HP. Yeah, what was the damage like though? So improvised weapons and improvised. Well, the improvised weapons can still do a lot of damage. Improvised weapons do D6 damage. Light does D6 damage. Light range do D6 damage. Heavy weapons do D10 damage. I mean, you can take somebody out. Combat. I want to try running a combat like this. We had an idea at one point that we were going to try to do simulating different combats and different systems here. And I haven't gotten all that set up, but that would still be fun because I bet. I mean, I want fast and deadly combat. To me, that's preferable than here we go. We're going to be playing this combat for 3 hours while we all grind away at 70 or 80 hit points. Creature score, ability score, loss, and death. If a creature has lost their strength, if a creature has their strength reduced to 0, they are dead. If Dex is reduced to 0, they are unable to move. If will is reduced to 0, they are reduced to insensibility. When your mouse dies, roll up a new one. The GM should introduce them as soon as possible. Getting back to the game is more important than realism. Rest and healing. There are 3 ways your mouse can rest and recover. Short rest. Take 1 turn. A swig of water and a few minutes of rest will restore D6 plus 1 HP. Long rest. Takes 1 watch. A meal and some sleep will restore all HP. If HP was already full, now that's not ability damage, but let's see. A meal and some sleep will restore all HP. If HP was already full, restore D6 to an attribute score. Full rest takes a week back in safety. So that's the difference between long rest and full rest. Full rest is a week back in safety. This fully restores your mouse's ability scores and removes most long-term conditions. A week of food and board in a settlement usually costs about 20 pips time. For convenience and ease of reference, game time is divided up into 6 time scales, three time scales of expanding duration. Round. This time scale is used during combat. Each round is less than a minute. A turn. The time scale used during adventure site exploration. Each turn round is 10 minutes and is long enough to explore 1 room or perform an action or 2. A fight will almost always last 1 turn. Watch. The time scale used in wilderness travel. Each watch is 36 turns, about 6 hours. There are 4 watches in a day. You can usually travel 1 hex or mile in a watch. See, now this game is we're not getting into a tremendous amount of detail right here, but this game is definitely trying to adjust for the mouse size in a way that the Tales of Rapavania was not. Because in this game, it sounds like you could interact with humans, and in Rapavania, you never will, so it's not a consideration. Sable Phoenix says, I like this way better than Cairn for some reason. It seems a lot more elegant, though I can't put my finger on why. I'd have to sit down with both and spend some time analyzing them. Yeah, because there are a lot of similarities, but then there are differences as well. This is very deadly. I think I would too, Sable Phoenix. Very deadly. I like it. Bacterial Ash says, this honestly might be the perfect RPG system to finally get my wife to give tabletop RPGs a try. Simple, elegant, and gameplay systems and cute animals to boot. 6 exploration turns is an hour, yeah? Based on the torch description. Let's see. So 6 The time scale used during adventuring site exploration, each turn is 10 minutes. Where did we see that? Light sources, torches. Oh, no, that's where we're supposed to be marking. It told us something about marking stuff off, wasn't it? You're right here. Torches and lanterns mark usage after 6 turns. Now, the electric lantern was different, I think. But torches mark usage after every 6 turns. And each turn is 10 minutes, so it lasts for an hour. Yeah. So your party of mice can travel 1 hex or mile per watch. Difficult terrain, streams, human roads, large rocks, hills, etc. require 2 watches per mile traveled. 1 hex or mile per watch, or difficult. Foraging. In the wild, your mouse can spend a watch foraging. If they do, they will find D3 uses of rations. Advancement. Your mouse earns experience points, XP, by bringing treasure and useful goods back from places of danger to the safety of a mouse settlement. For every pip worth of treasure brought to safety, divided equally amongst the party, your mouse earns 1 XP. Your mouse can earn additional XP by expending their pips selflessly on improvements. Your mouse can earn additional XP by spending their pips selflessly on improvements for the whole community. For every 10 pips, selflessly for the community. For every 10 pips spent in this way, your mouse earns 1 XP. So mice start at level 1. The following table shows the total XP required to advance a level. Your hit dice, 1d6. You've got 0 grit and 0 experience. Level 2, 2d6, 5 plus 46. Grit, I'm supposed we're going to figure out what to do with that. And then you got to get to 1,000 XP. Oh, so you got to bring back some serious treasure here, because your mouse earns 1 XP for every pip worth of treasure brought, divided amongst the party. So you got to bring back, like there are 4 of you, you got to bring back 4,000 pips worth of treasure. When your mouse earns enough XP to advance each level, use the following procedure. Roll for the attribute increase. Roll D20 once for each of your mouse's strength, dex, and will. If the result is higher than your attribute's current score, increase it by 1. Oh, so you're increasing it for each one. So each one has the potential to go up. So if you're low and you survive, these will gradually go up. So you can go above. I would assume that means you can go above 12, but you can only start at 12. Roll hit dice. Roll the dice listed for the new level's hit dice. If the value is higher than your mouse's current HP, replace your HP with the current value rolled. Otherwise, increase your mouse's HP by 1. So we've got increased hit points, but not out of control. Carl says, short-lived cute animals. Right. You have to be willing to let some cute animals die here. Lets her experience some drama. Good morning, Vision. Good morning. Now, pips are a sort of meta currency, I suppose, represented in-game by useful goods and items. Yeah, it says they are the currency of the mouse kingdom. So they're not completely meta and out of game. Yeah, they're the actual currency. This is such an OSR game. How is the game about mice looking like the best OSR game I've never played? I'm going to get this today after seeing this. Bacterial Ash says, pips. Okay, so I didn't know this. When you ask, I thought that maybe that was the case, that pips are fruit seeds. When you ask, like, what type of fruit are they? I was like, so do people call pip? What is a pip? A PIP is a document that aims to help employees who are not meeting job performance goals, a performance improvement plan. I think that's different. Pips are the small, hard seeds in a fruit, such as an apple, orange, or pear. Okay, I had never heard that. So, okay, so that's what they use for money. Now we know. Yeah, well, that's what I heard. Like, when I think of pips, I think, but that also kind of makes sense as far as the illustration here. Yeah, pips. When I think of pips, I think of dots on a die, right? Okay, so they are fruit seeds, probably apple seeds. It's a British word. Okay, that's probably why I was not aware of it. Okay, we are going to continue this. So we're trying to experiment here. I'm going to continue this. I want to keep looking at this. So I'm going to keep going for a few minutes, taking a look here at Mausritter. If you would like to continue with me, continue Mausritter. I'm going to jump over to this new stream. And this is a members only stream. So if you are enjoying the morning grind and you're enjoying taking a look at this and taking a look at Mausritter, I'm going to start that stream here in about 90 seconds or something like that. So come over to that stream and hang out with me. If you would like, just join the channel and become a channel member. Click the button, and then we will go over there and we will continue to take a look at Mausritter. But otherwise, we're going to be live tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, talking about the feminine version of the hero's journey with Doug Burton. I think it's going to be a fantastic conversation. So that's at 7:30 tonight. But otherwise, come right over, and we will continue to take a look at Mausritter. Here is that link again. You can click there and then click join the channel or whatever. We will continue to take a look at this. I'm going to be here for a few more minutes. So, all right, everybody. See you over there on the members only stream. See you in just a few.